and I'm here in Dharamsala, India, in the residence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. His Holiness has been kind enough to honor the viewers of lionsroar.com and the readers of our special 80th birthday commemorative publication with an interview with us. And so, Your Holiness, on behalf of all of our readers, we thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. My first question is about the two benefits. Buddhism teaches that the Dharma benefits oneself and benefits others. In the West, many people believe that they have to make a choice between those two things. They are taught by their religion or by their ethics that they can care about others' happiness, but not about their own, that is somehow a selfish thing to do and not morally or ethically correct. And therefore, they feel very badly about themselves and they are not happy. How do we tell people that their happiness and the happiness of others are the same, and that they have a right to be happy, and that it is not wrong for them to be happy themselves?
Naturally, the ultimate source of a happy mind and a healthy body is very much related with our mental attitude. Think oneself, more self-centered attitude, then that actually, brings or creates fear. Then with other people, you may feel a little bit you prefer distance, because you yourself, there's something very important, self-centered. So that kind of mental attitude actually bring a lot of anxiety, loneliness, and fear. And with fear, constantly develop anger. So this very bad for one's own peace of mind. And through that way, healthy body also very much ruined by this disturbed mind. Some scientists, they say constant fear, anger, actually is a great damage about our immune system. So now the other way, take care or sense of concern of others' well-being. That mental attitude is the opposite of self-centered narrow-mindedness. So therefore, logically, all those negative things which create by self-centered attitude, then reduce. So more sense of concern of others. Appears you take more concern about others' well-being. The reality, you get maximum benefit. Firstly, that kind of mental attitude, reduce fear. You immediately develop, others, also your friend, same. So even, I think, smile, I think we can examine those people who easily, showing genuine human smile. I think that person inside more peace. People who show also some smile, but artificial smile, then that shows inside, something little bit distance from other. Then we are social animals. Individual's life or happy life entirely depend on the rest of the community. So extreme self-centered attitude is just opposite to that. Right from the beginning, when we're born, if both sides, mother side, child side, both too much self-centered attitude, children die. Mother also never be happy mother. Very close feeling, taking full care, affection from mother to child, or child's also. Although you see, at that time, very early period, say immediate after birth, no language, no concept. What is that person, or concept of mother? But biologically, immediately, is it touch each other. So that's way you see our life start. Then we know, you see, those children who received maximum affection from their parent and their friend, they usually, you see, very happy. So sometimes the parent show a little bit so negative face, or sometimes even you see a little bit sort of punishment. that very day, very unhappy. That's very nature. No need philosophy, no need research. Everybody experience that. So therefore, since right from the beginning of our life, we received maximum affection from our parent, particularly from our mother. So in our blood, you see, you surrounded by sort of friend with affection. Your physical condition also is much healthier, much happier. Yep. So therefore, conclusion is we can say more sense of concern of others' well-being is the best way to achieve your own happy life, healthy body, and that way, longer life. You don't need drugs or tranquilizer if you keep, you see, more affectionate mind here as a part of a social animal. So that I myself, you see, practice that. You see, I really found really the immense benefit to myself.
Well, I have to say, Your Holiness, sitting here opposite this close to you, I have never seen anybody who is just about to turn 80 years old who looks so youthful and healthy. So maybe you're proof of your own teachings. I have never.
I may have some drugs, so that is top secret.
Okay. We won't tell anybody.
I mean, nothing. My own experience. You see, when you see some trouble news or some troublesome situation, a tragic situation happen, then immediately, or intellectual level, yes, some sort of anguish or some sort of worry, anxiety. But deeper level, emotional level, not much problem.
Many people in the West, again, have a basic view of human nature as evil. As I understand, Buddhism says that through Buddha nature or bodhicitta, that that fundamentally human beings at their most basic level are good and positive. How do we convince people in the face of their own suffering and of all of the terrible things that happen in this world that actually, if we touch who we really are, human beings are actually good?
I believe when we look children, so long, you see, with smile and playful, the children never consider importance of differences, including religious faith or family background. Then gradually we grown up, we much sort of then is a concern about, you see, what is their background, including what religious faith. And even if it's the same color, same race, same nationality, same faith, then rich and poor, or influential family or not. So this, I feel, you see, secondary, I feel. Actually, 7 billion human beings, on fundamental, we are same human being. All have the same experience from their mother, from their parent. Affectionate one. And also now scientists, some medical scientists, they sort of experimented. Child, you see, looking some sort of cartoon. The cartoon, you see, one, you see, play together, helping each other. Then very, very sort of young child, 2 years old, 3 years old. You see, when they saw the cartoon play, helping each other, they show very happy face. When they show, you see, when you show to them the cartoon, some so they harming each other, negative way. Such a young person, young child. So that shows, some scientists now say, basic human nature is more compassionate, more gentleness, because of biological factor. So I think we must now look on fundamental level. Then 7 billion human beings, all same human being, basically same brothers, sisters. Then secondary level, yes, different race, different country, different continent, different system, different religion. There are too many differences. So today, I think all those man-made problems is actually based on secondary level of differences. If we go deeper way, fundamental human level, see, no demarcation, no barrier. We are same human being. Language different, okay, no problem. But everybody, you see, born from mother and grown up with human affection, same. So I think we believe, not only myself, but some my friend, some scientists, some educationists, and other. You see, now we believe existing education system, you see, we not adequate explanation about basic human value. When we talk about value, then very much related with religious faith. Without touching religion, simply biological factor and our social animal. And on this level, we can teach, we can educate people, through education. Up to now, I think when people or children, very young age, these basic human values are very fresh. Then join school or kindergarten. Not much talk that. Eventually, money or some other things. So actually, I think existing education system very much oriented about material value. So people or generation who come through that kind of education, then gradually their whole life become more materialistic life. Then this faith, almost you see, forcing on your mind, try to practice compassion or forgiveness, these things. I think due to lack of understanding, basic necessity on the level of human being. This is my view.
So clearly, Your Holiness, you talk about empathy and compassion as the most important things that this world needs. Undoubtedly, that is true. Yet, is it truly possible to be compassionate or empathetic without some understanding of non-self? In other words, if the world, if as a whole, people are going to become more compassionate and be less self-centered, how important is it to present wisdom teachings to them, and how can wisdom teachings, the teachings of no self, or at least less self, be presented to a wide global audience?
Among the different world religious tradition which have philosophical view, the mainly theistic religion, non-theistic religion. The theistic religion, you see, they use the method. I mean, they are used such method. You see, believe God, Creator, infinite love. So that's the method, you see, to increase practice of love. Since we ourselves created by such wonderful, compassionate, infinite compassionate sort of love of God. So something like our Father, God as our Father. So such sort of nature, infinite love, then that brings us some kind of enthusiasm or courage. Since such thing, I mean such sort of God created us. So we also have this some kind of spark of God. So very powerful sort of approach. Then non-theistic religion. In a way, now emphasis more on yourself. Actually, those non-theistic religion, you see, there is no creator but you yourself as a creator. So all sort of good things or negative things, all is responsible on yourself. So Buddha stated, you yourself, your own master. Now, you mentioned no self or less self. If you really want to develop altruistic attitude, and in order to do that, try to minimize too much self-centered sort of sense or feeling, you need sense of strong self. So you see, we should make this distinction. Buddhism say no soul, no self means something independent self. Besides this body and mind, something independent. So that kind of self, something independent, oneness, permanent, that kind of self is not there. So you see, with that sort of meaning, usually you see, we use the word of non-self. But this does not mean denying existence of self. And you see, just I feel, you see, like that kind of the mental attitude. I is there. As I mentioned earlier, when we sort of try to improve yourself and try to minimize this destructive emotion, we need strong sort of sense of strong self. I can do. I can sort of change my mind. I can reduce anger, hatred, these things. So you need, they naturally, you see, self is there. Nobody can deny that.
But not a separate self.
Oh, yes, something independent, unchanging self is not there. If you accept that, then there is no possibility to change, improve ourselves. So that's the Buddhist concept. And then, you see, anger, attachment, all these related with, in deep insight, some kind of false sort of view. I, something independent or solid. When we realize no longer that kind of independent, oneness, permanent self, you see, it can reduce the feeling or the strength of these destructive emotions. Some scientists, they say, when we develop anger, the object which we feel angry, that appears very negative. But actually, 90% of that negativeness is mental projection. Now here, very connection, independent feeling of independent self. Then others also something independent. The negative or negative activities of other or your enemy, also something absolute, something independent. So then anger develop. So 90% is your own mental projection. So here, from Buddhist viewpoint, you see the independent self, that acting here, now something very solid, and other sort of object which you feel angry, which you feel attachment, also something absolute, independent, not relative, not something depend on other factor. Once you realize that, you see, in order to create your, today is your enemy, the condition which create that enemy, you also participate. You're also, you see, some sort of contributor due to your attitude or your sort of social background or faith or something. Then you see that person feel angry to you. So once we realize, oh, this person very angry to me because I also made some contribution in order to create that, then you can't blame everything on that enemy.
Your Holiness, when you talk about projection of an enemy, for instance, you reminded me of something that I just read the other day that I thought was the best single description of Dharma that I have read, that reduced it to its single most important point. And it was the simple statement, Buddhism is cultivating awareness of your mind. Very, very simple. But to me, it seemed to be the pith statement about Dharma. What do you think of that?
Buddhism, as far as Buddhism is concerned, of course, like other tradition, Buddhism also, you see, stress importance of faith. But mainly, you see, faith must combine with wisdom. Mm-hmm. Similarly, love, compassion also must combine with wisdom. So, like I think the very word Paramita Sutra. Paranja means wisdom. So, in the Buddhism, and particularly in Nalanda tradition, intelligence or reasoning is very important. Now Buddha's own quotation, "O my follower, monks or scholars should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather thorough investigation and experiment." So our mind, part of our mind, which you see carrying investigation, is the intelligence, not faith. So therefore, in Buddhist tradition, the investigation, reasoning is the key factor. So therefore, that's why you see the last few decades, I think about it was 4 decades ago, one occasion I expressed to my friend, one Western sort of Buddhist. I just expressed, I want to have more serious discussion with scientists. Then that person told me, "Oh, be careful. Science is killer. Science is killer of religion. Be careful." Then I reflect this Buddha's quotation. You should not accept any sort of teaching, just faith, just out of respect, but rather thorough investigation. So then, no problem with discussion or dialogue with modern scientists. The science is a method, try to know the reality. So far, modern classical science mainly, you see, regarding material, physical world, not mind. Now, later part of 20th century, now gradually, the subject of science also now gradually touching about emotions or consciousness, these things. So therefore, the awareness through investigation, through experiment, is the key factor. That brings faith, not just faith. So, like many Buddhist scholars, ancient scholars like Nagarjuna, investigate even Buddha's own teaching, certain text. Buddha said that, but we cannot accept that because it goes against such reason. So therefore, I usually expressing the Buddhist way of practice is utilize human intelligence maximum way, through that way transform our emotion.
In the West, in the world, actually, one of the most important issues for a better society we face is equality for women to men. And I would like to know what you feel the role of women will be in Buddhism in the future, and whether you feel that the way women are currently viewed, honored, and trained in Buddhism needs to change.
Firstly, I often used to telling people, my first guru about compassion, about affection, is my mother. If I have, you see, such a mother without sort of much of the affection, then today this person may be something different. Suspicion, sense of insecurity. So because, fortunately, our mother very, very compassionate. So we received sort of maximum affection from her. So that's 7 billion human being. Same. As a father, no matter how sort of love their child, You see, father cannot produce and no milk. Animal, we can see, without father, you see, they cannot reproduction or reproduce. But the dogs or birds, children, they are youngsters, and the mother is a very special relations. So we are same. Then, in some extent, I think Buddhism also, you see, because usually I used to make sort of three aspects of any religion. Teaching, they are same, whether theistic religion or non-theistic religion, within theistic religion, different sort of tradition, or within non-theistic religion, also you see major differences, the concept of non-self, non-soul, or independent self. You see, there are differences. All carry same practice of love. With that, forgiveness, tolerance, contentment, service other. Same. Then philosophical views, these differences. Then should be cultural aspect. Now, this is some my friend. You see, they state, and at the time, the Mahavira, the Jain, Jain founder, and Buddha Shakyamuni, Buddhist founder of Buddhism. When these two, I think, preacher of non-violence, used to come. At that time, in the society in India, there is a lot of animal sacrifice. Some of my friends say, at that time, even the farmers' economy also some effect because of too much sort of sacrifice animal. So because of that kind of circumstances, these two founders very much emphasis about non-violence, and you see, like Jain, completely vegetarian. Buddhism not that much strict, but still, you see, emphasis non-vegetarians like that. So this I feel cultural aspect. Similarly, the Judaism, a little bit so tough because of the circumstances. Different places, a lot of hostile. So you see, that kind of culture, that kind of society, you need a certain sort of for self-defense. You see, you need a certain sort of concept. Then similarly, then I think the Jesus Christ is a special emphasis about tolerance. If someone hit here, you show this, like that. You see, the circumstances, I think that I feel cultural aspect. Then Islam. At that time, you see, I think the society, some kind of nomad, not a proper rule. So the Quran, sort of some emphasis about Sharia law because of the circumstances. So that I consider cultural aspect. So now today, and then also you see many religion, a little bit sort of emphasis the male dominance.
A little, a lot.
The Buddhism, Buddha give equal sort of right, the highest ordination, bhikshu and bhikshuni, male and female, equal. But at the same time, when the nuns and monks together, a monk should go first. So little sort of the discrimination. I feel this is cultural aspect. So that cultural aspect, I think from time to time, it is possible and necessary to modify. This I feel. I always say, expressing the female should take more active role regarding promotion of human deeper value. That's human love. Biologically, again, some scientists say, the one male, one female watching, one picture shows someone is passing through sort of very painful experiences. Then the response from these two viewers, female, one male, the female, much more stronger sort of response. Biologically, physically, some differences. So I usually see expressing the leadership, I think maybe millions years ago, no concept of leadership. Small population here and there, so they work together. Whatever they get, share together equally. Then gradually population increased, and also the farming system increased. Then the concept of mind increased. So then some crimes, stealing or bully or cheating, these things happen. Therefore, the concept of leadership come. At that time, no education, no rule of education. So in order to become leadership, physical strength, like animal, some animal, group of animal, most cases male dominance. Except the elephant, I heard this, elephant, the mother is more stronger. So it's a dominant. I heard that. So therefore, male dominance then come. Eventually, education start. Education brings more equal, some extent. Now still not adequate. So now time come. Not only education, brain here, wonderful brain, but also need warm-heartedness. In this respect, female, biologically, more potential. So female should take more active role regarding promotion of human deeper value. And sometimes I jokingly is telling, the leadership, I think major sort of percentage of leadership of today's world, if female come, maybe less violence. And that my own sort of case, I expressed many years ago, in case Dalai Lama institution remain and the future Dalai Lama, should come, then future Dalai Lama could be female Dalai Lama. Because you see, in Tibetan history, some important spiritual leaders, including reincarnation, like Samdhin Dorje Brahmo, I think almost 7 centuries old. Right from the beginning, female reincarnated High Lama. It is not unusual. So in the future, in case Dalai Lama Institute should remain, or may remain, and then the 15th Dalai Lama, choosing 15th Dalai Lama come, and then theoretically could be more useful, maybe a female Dalai Lama. Then that's firstly, in Paris, one women's magazine, the one reporter, come interview me, and then this question come. Then I told her, if female Dalai Lama come, will not be very, very attractive female Dalai Lama.
But Your Holiness, in practice, right now, in much of the Buddhist world, even in the West to lesser extent, certainly in the Tibetan system as well as in Southeast Asia, women practitioners do not receive as much education. The nunneries are not as well funded. There are fewer women teachers. It does appear that significant work needs to be done as right now on the ground.
Exactly. After I came, we become refugee. Some nunnery, some monastery, eventually established. Then, I think 40 years ago, I urge now nunneries should start a similar sort of education system, Buddhist education or study of philosophy, these things should be same way. Then we start. Now, after 30, 40 years, now the highest sort of level of degree, now some female, or say the nuns, now already now reach that. Yes. So they also now carry teachings. 2 years ago, is one Tibetan school in South India. When I visit there, the teacher is one nun. Then student, you see, they sort of when I visit, you see, they, their presentation, you see, debate. Young student, teacher is one nun. So we then regarding the highest, or say the nun's vow, that beyond my control. We have to go according the monastic sort of, or say the rules, or Vinaya rule. So according, you see, Tibetan Vinaya rule, Sarvasiti Vadan. So that, you see, when you give ordination to nun, you see, the abbot must be one nun, bhikshu, bhikshuni. So in Tibet in the past, so from India, bhikshuni never visited. So some lama, you see, ordained their mother or their sort of some disciple give ordination of bhikshuni, but according to Vinaya, this is still last now a few decades we seriously discuss about this and also invite some Chinese Buddhist monk and also some cases some Sri Lanka, Burma, you see, monk, we discuss, but still not yet sort of unanimous sort of view, different view. But as far as sort of education is concerned, is I have sort of I have sort of right or authority. I start now. Nunnery must take serious study as monk do. Now already result already now achieved.
What do you think, how is the way that a genuine and complete Vajrayana lineage can be maintained in the 21st century going forward? And in particular in the modern world, and I don't mean simply the West, but obviously much of Asia is just as modern. How are we going to, what do we need to do so that a complete and genuine Vajrayana lineage is continued?
I usually used to make, kind of the two lineage or the way of teaching is a two way. One, the general approach to Buddhism. Oh, you see, general approach. So like Buddha's own, many Buddha's teaching, Sutrayana and Vinayana, all these to public, to general. And then like Nagarjuna's the Madhyamika Mulakarika, and also the Metteyya Bodhisattvas, the Abhisamaya Alankara, like that. These are public. The Tantrayana, not that way. Special Buddhist sort of manifestation. Give one individual. So that individual, like Hiruka Tantra, many, all these tantric sort of teaching, men, one single person, then another sort of person. They firstly, you see, vision come, then that person received. So therefore, now, like Sutra or these Nagarjuna's texts, I think thousands or millions of people, you see, can study or study common books like that. As for Tantrayana, small group, one individual received some special sort of teaching, then he gave his own trusted sort of disciple. Then I think sometimes we feel, Tibet case, I think we not strictly follow according the Indian tradition of Tantrayana. Tantrayana is secret teaching. So we made public. So therefore now the tantric practice, sometimes you see people, you see, just you see, heard or through Tantrayana, tantric practice, you can achieve Buddhahood within 3 years. I sometimes, you see, I sort of express jokingly, that is something like communist propaganda. Impossible. Out of millions, maybe 1 or 2, maybe, but otherwise it's impossible. So you see, among Tibetan also, among the Chinese also, sometimes, so the tantric practice, abhisheka, initiation, you see, people really fond that. I noticed, you see, in early 60s, 70s, when I give some teaching, when I give some explanation about basic Buddhist sort of structure or Buddhist system, sometimes you see, among the audience, some people feel asleep. Then, when I give some, initiation, then everybody, you see, looks very serious. In reality, in order to receive properly initiation, you need certain deeper experiences. Without that, very difficult. Yes. Otherwise, we're just performing like drama, like that.
So I understand.
And then also, you see some, disgrace cases also happen. So sexual misconduct, and also sometimes exploitation of money, like that. So these, we should be very, very careful. We should be very serious. That's important.
I believe that, and I guess I try to be one of those serious practitioners myself of Tantrayana. And I have a teacher, but he is now retired, old, sick. So I understand that that tradition is for a small number of people and is often simply a one-to-one transmission. But now that many of the fully trained tantric gurus who are fully trained within the Tibetan system are now, I mean, in my school, I've Khenpo Tsultrim, who is my teacher. Trungpa Rinpoche is very old. Tenga Rinpoche has died. How is this tradition going to continue now? Who is going to continue it? Who is going to teach it?
There's no worry among Tibetan refugee community, as well as inside Tibet.
Did you say no worry?
No worry, no worry.
Okay, good.
That's good. Not only sort of our refugee community, but inside Tibet also. You see, younger generation, among the younger generation, who really, you see, fully qualified, you see, to carry this tradition. Some false, the lamas or false spiritual teachers also coming. For example, nowadays in China, you see, some Tibetan, some Chinese, you see, told me, some serious Buddhist, you see, they expressed to me, you see, nowadays, you see, from Tibet, some sort of false lamas, you see, originally they themselves call as the Dharma Raja. So eventually, those Dharma Raja, their main sort of interest is sex and money. So such things is a great damaging way, like that. So one time, I think now, about 30 years ago, you see, this very room, one is a Chinese Buddhist from China, you see, came here. And then he told me some so-called spiritual, kings of Dharma, spiritual sort of leader, spiritual guru. You see, come, and then those Chinese faithful Buddhists, you see, they very much respect and receive some sort of teaching. Then eventually, that person, that Lama, as I mentioned earlier, is just seeking sex and money. So he asked me, I should do something. Then I told him, I'm here as a refugee. I cannot be, because of that, I cannot do anything. So important, you, the Chinese Buddhist, you should study and should know the qualification of Lama, about Vinayana, about Sutrayana, about Tantrayana. Once you know, you see, these things, then you should examine. Someone come, call themselves as something great. You should not believe that. You must remain skeptical, and examine, investigate, not just 1 week or 2 weeks, but if necessary, years. Once you fully convinced that person have this qualification and reliable, then you should receive teaching. I told that person.
And that's not just true for Chinese, that's true for anybody who's seeking it.
Yes, now this is, and Tibetan also, among Tibetan also. And in Tibet, in the West, sure. Yes, very important.
As you know, you played a major role in inspiring what might be called the mindfulness movement or the secular mindfulness movement. And our publication, Mindful, is a reflection of that movement. And John Kabat-Zinn, a friend and someone I admire very much, I know is deeply inspired, as well as the work, of course, of Mind and Life. There are Buddhist practitioners, however, who criticize the use of meditation, the teaching of meditation outside of a religious or a Buddhist context, and say that it is does not have the ethical or compassionate side. Others, like myself, believe that if the practice is done correctly, the ethics and the compassion are inherently there, are already present. So what is your feeling, as probably the world's best known Buddhist leader, of meditation practice taught outside of the context of Buddhism?
We Buddhists in general, and particularly so-called the follower of Mahayana, we always pray entire sentient being. I always telling when we pray for entire sentient being, then some other galaxies, you see, maybe indirectly, according to quantum sort of physics, maybe some connection through wave. Otherwise, we have no direct sort of contact. So then, on this planet, animals, birds, insects, see, they have no ability to think because they have no such human brain. Now only human being. So because we pray, entire sentient being. Now at least 7 billion human beings on this planet, we have directly or indirectly some connection there. Our future depends well-being of 7 billion human beings. So therefore, anyway, if we have some sort of some way to make some contribution for well-being of humanity.
Such as meditation?
No, wait. So now here, out of 7 billion human beings, over 1 billion non-believer, and about 6 billion believer, also some rubbish also there. So this shows lack of moral principle, lack of sense of concern of others' well-being. If you have genuine sort of strong sense of well-being of other, then there is no way exploit them, bully them, cheating them, because you take sort of seriously, you see, care about their well-being. So that's the general speaking, you see, sense of concern of others' well-being. That means love or affection. Now here, I always use the according to Indian tradition, secular. According to Indian understanding, secular means respect all religions and also respect non-believer. In the West, you see, some my friend, the little sort of reservation, the word of secularism, because they sometimes they understand that secular means disrespect to religion or distance from religion. So, according Indian tradition, respect including non-believer. So therefore, I usually, you see, pursue that way. Aim 7 billion human beings, whether believer or non-believer, we all same human being, as I mentioned earlier. So then, like simple meditation, is actually sharpening our mind and increasing ability of our mind to investigate. I think in the education field, some simple meditation very helpful to increase the sharpness of their mind and also increase memory. So this is something common. Then, like I think part of secular thing, and also including yoga practice, come from the religious sort of tradition, but we utilize for health. Okay. So similarly, meditation is come from, I think, spiritual sort of tradition, but then we use this secular way for everybody's sort of interest. This is very, very useful. I think very good.
My final question, I was told that I could. Pico suggested that you don't talk too much about you, but I will. And because I don't, he said you don't like to be praised that much. But I will say, I personally believe that you, the person sitting across from me now, which I find kind of amazing to me personally, is probably the most positively viewed human being on the planet. You have fewer enemies and more people who admire you than I think any other person on the planet. My question is, what is it about your teaching or your presence that literally billions of people respond to? And more importantly, what does their response tell us about human nature? What are they responding to in your teachings and in your presence? And what does it tell us about who they are as human beings that they respond in that way?
Perhaps I feel when I meet people, when I give teaching or lecture, I always emphasize we are same human being. Perhaps I have my whole life, not easy way, but difficult life. So sometimes I may have sort of certain experience which can be useful. Otherwise, same human being. When I give teaching, I never sort of emphasize I'm something special person. I'm Dalai Lama. When I give public talk, I never consider I'm Buddhist. No, same. We are same human being. The faith, disposition, faith also is the individual, the secondary level differences. But we already mentioned, I always emphasize we are same human being. So that immediately, you see, brings closer. If I stress I'm special person, as I'm 14th Dalai Lama, then I automatically a little bit distance and showing, pretended, or something very special. It's fooling myself. Sometimes this is one occasion I want to share with you or in viewers also. One occasion in one country, we interfaith service. As one spiritual practitioner who have with sort of rosary. So when he in his sort of his turn, he pray, you see, with rosary. Then very seriously, very formally. So then the string of the rosary broke. So this rosary is scattered, but he still remained like that. And I feel very laugh. I felt, well, if I'm that person, I will sort of, I will cut my also prayer and pick up those beads like that. So I really see, sometimes I feel, among Tibetan also, some people, it's a little bit fond, it's a formality. That I don't like. So I think Buddha himself, I think very ordinary person. When he goes with a group of monks at a begging bowl, I think many cases without shoe, like that. And then one time in Thailand, one area, the one great monk, good monk, as well as a good scholar, Buddhadasa, his name. Yes. In his place, you see, beside some sort of big tree, then one rock there. That's his seat to give teaching to his follower. And I saw that. Oh, Buddha, Nagarjuna, these people, I think, give such precious teaching on such way. We Tibetan Dalai Lama, including myself, high throne, much decorated, but teaching is sometimes maybe mistake teaching.
So, if I may, just
So I think the main reason is I look other as a human being, and I myself as also a human being. That I think immediately, you see, come a close feeling.
but also you teach about something that you talk about kindness and compassion in a way that touches people that in a way that nobody else does. So does their response indicate that kindness and compassion is what human beings want more than anything in life?
I think since my approach, secular way, so many non-believer is really seeking some sort of the suggestions quite often. And I remember one occasion in America, one gentleman, you see, later used to come to see me, and he told me, before he attended my public talk, he very much sort of irritated towards Mr. Bush, the younger Bush. I love him as a human being, a wonderful person. His policy is sometimes difficult. So that person, that person, you see, told me, before he attended my talk, you see, he little bit sort of negative feeling towards Mr. Bush. After listen my talk, then that kind of attitude, feeling completely changed, disappear. So that's good. You see, at least you see someone's mind, you see, more peaceful mind, you see, come. So that's way to serve human being.
Well, on behalf of our viewers, Your Holiness, I'd like to thank you very much. It's been a great honor for me personally to speak to you personally, and I know that all of our viewers in North America will benefit greatly from your wisdom. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Then any sort of spiritual believer, whether we accept religious faith or not, that's up to individual. Once we accept, see, the spiritual tradition, any spiritual tradition, then we should be serious. We should be sincere. And without sort of say, too much expectation. You see, you should follow with will, with determination. Then gradually you get deeper experiences. So mental development take time, not like mission. It takes weeks, months, years, decades. So please, spiritual brothers, sisters, once you follow any tradition, then we should be serious and sincere. Thank you.